What is going on, everybody? What is going on? It is Sunday, November 12th, 2023. And we are here for a monumentous occasion, a very great occasion. Y'all know I always talk about when people get the moment. Well, I think it's safe to say Daniel Cameron has now finally received his the moment. Before I get into everything, shout out to everybody who was here so far. Shout out to all of my patrons on Patreon. Shout out to all of my people, my members here as well. Everyone in the Discord, people follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and so on and so forth. So let's see, who do we have in here so far? CW 5001, Sun Kissed by the Most High, Sybil, Charles Walker, Tracy R. Nelson, Dimple Face, Demarcus Vaughn, Cool Spider, Gene Harvey, Joseph Washington, Haxon KT, Juggernaut 171, Key Prince, Denise Scales, Jennifer Wade, Tildall 12, Grape Shot, Cosmo Fury, DD Phoenix, King of Now, Miss Brooklyn 11232, Blueberry Muffin, Kid Gravity, Jerry Bedford, Miriam, Dabby, Tara Bro, Patricia Slate, MDWMs, Dewani Nelson, Gene Harvey, AW1, Foodophilia, Great Black Shark, Lord Lee Bowens, and so on and so forth. Welcome everybody. Make sure you go ahead and hit that like button. I will greatly appreciate it. But yes, y'all knew I had to come on here and do this today. And it was no other way I was going to do this Triple P, because it was coming. Like y'all didn't have to worry about whether it was going to happen or not. It was going to come. It's just a matter of what day I was going to do it and how I was going to do it. But the thing is, I think I always knew I was going to make his Triple P in the form of a live stream, as y'all seen lately. As of course, y'all know with the last video I did today, which was like about an hour ago, actually, was a Triple P as well. And shout out to everybody who was in attendance for that as well. But Daniel Cameron has finally received his wake-up call. As y'all already know, we always say that the tool will be broken. It's just a matter of time. Usually the tool gets broken after they've gotten comfortable in their position. And then once they feel like they've gotten comfortable, then the tool, the manufacturer that created them will soon break them. And the thing about it is, only the manufacturer will know when they're going to break its own tool. And then you'll be discarded, and then they will find another to take your place, and the cycle continues. The only ones who don't seem to be aware of that are the tools themselves. And I think Daniel Cameron is an example of that. Great Black Shark said, give him that everlasting work. For sure. And something tells me he will not have learned his lesson from this. He's going to continue to buck dance, as we've all known him to do since 2020. And until he fades into obscurity, much like a Paris Denard or a David Clark or a Stacey Dash. It doesn't pay to do all of this tap dancing. It may feel fine at first because you know you're getting a pat in the head and you're getting your pockets lined, but at the end of the day, it's like a bad rash. It's just spreading, it itches, it's uncomfortable. It may likely might not even be a cure for it. It's like a terminal illness. But Daniel Cameron is getting exactly what he deserves. Every last bit of it. And I hope that it doesn't just stop here. Because ever since we've come to realize who this man was in 2020, outside of the people who lived in the state of Kentucky, who probably were aware of him before what happened with Breonna Taylor, ever since then, he's been on the radar ever since. And what creeps me out about this dude is like he's always smiling. That's scary to me. He's always showing all 32 teeth, and that is creepy to me. Like on some Joker-ish. But I'm going to go ahead and get this thing started. I have 4 tabs open. Three of them are videos, and one is an article, but I'm not going to read the whole article because the article is actually going to be one of the best parts of this stream besides the videos themselves. But I'm gonna start off with a video first. So let me go ahead now and share my screen right quick. Now, the first video I'm going to show is when they announced that Andy Beshear, who is the current governor of Kentucky, who actually won re-election, the announcement of him winning. Now, what makes this very interesting before I play this video is that Daniel Cameron ran as a Republican in Kentucky, and Kentucky is a red state. And to my knowledge, they have not had a Republican governor in the state of Kentucky since 1943, but it's always been a red state. And they said Daniel Cameron was the first black person to, I think, run for governor. And now he'll be the first to lose. So imagine you are in a red state and you lose to the person in blue. But to my knowledge, this Andy Beshear is no one to throw a parade over either. But I'm going to go ahead now and play the announcement.
Our decision desk has now made it official, and they are comfortable declaring that Andy Beshear, the Democratic incumbent governor of Kentucky, has been reelected, that he will defeat his Republican challenger, the sitting attorney general, Daniel Cameron. We've been, no surprise if you've been watching all night, we've been seeing county after county come in Kentucky, with Beshear running ahead of how he ran in 2019, not by leaps and bounds, but by several points, just county after county. The pattern very clear at this point. This is a state he won by less than 1 point 4 years ago. He had a very high approval rating, very high personal favorability rating. The Cameron campaign and Republicans had been hoping to attach Beshear to Joe Biden, to the National Democratic Party, both of which remain very unpopular in Kentucky. But it looks like that personal popularity and that high job approval rating for Beshear have won out. He is going to get a second term. He's the second Beshear to get a second term as governor of Kentucky. His father was a 2-term governor as well, not that long ago. Just again, we can show you. We got a big batch of votes from Louisville, Jefferson County.
Now, y'all just heard that. They say he's the second Beshear to have that governor position because his dad was a 2-time governor as well, and not that long ago. I don't know how long ago it was when his dad was governor, but that sounds like legacy and nepotism to me.
Well, not that long ago. Just again, we can show you. We got a big batch of votes from Louisville, Jefferson County, core Democratic county. We said this would be a big tranche of Beshear votes. A few of those came in just a little while ago. And you look around the Lexington area, and I think you really see it, though, the improvement for Beshear over last time around. He's running 6 points better in Fayette County, second biggest county in the state, than he did 4 years ago. You look up in Scott County, he's running at 55% basically now. He was under 50 4 years ago there. Take a look at the state capital, Franklin County, where Frankfort is. He got 61% of the vote here 4 years ago. He's at 68.5 with almost 95% in. So that has been the pattern. These big Democratic vote producing counties, he's getting more votes out of. In Republican counties, he's still losing them, but he's not losing them by as much. It all adds up to what's going to be a victory for Andy Beshear in his second term in the governor.
All right, so y'all just heard that right there. And I'm looking at some of the comments that people are leaving. People are saying they was not about to let Daniel Cameron in a Republican state, a black man, get into that governor position while married to a PC woman. They would not have liked those optics at all. And I have to agree. He may not see it. He may not see it that way, but they see it that way. And it'd be so funny when you have people like that, because they did the same thing with Larry, Not My Elder, saying, I'm going to throw all my support behind Larry Elder. I'm going to throw all my ducats behind him, all my change, all my coins, all my dollar bills behind him. And he ends up dropping out. And people barely even knew he ran. I predict the same thing happened with Daniel Cameron. Now, if y'all remember, a couple months ago, I had did a video on Daniel Cameron when he was going to go do I don't know if it was a podcast interview or just a regular standard interview on a radio show, where he was going to sit across from a well-known Dub-S person, and his campaign team, who I can imagine is pretty lily white, had to pull him back from the ledge and said, that's not a good idea to go speak with this man. He was literally about to run over because he smelled those biscuits coming from the oven to go to have a sit down with a well-known Dub-S. And his team had to pull him back. I wonder if that had anything to do with why he lost. There are probably a number of factors why he lost, but I wonder if that was one of them. Blueberry Muffin said Andy's dad, Steve Beshear, was Kentucky governor from 2007 to 2015. Okay. So he was governor from the time I graduated high school until, well, I was out of college by the time he got out, because I graduated in 2011. Interesting. Thanks for that bit of news, because I wasn't sure when his dad was governor, but they just said it was recent. And 2015, that is recent. That's less than 10 years ago. But that's that right there. That's the announcement. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is this video from 45. Now, in case y'all were unaware, 45 actually, I think he endorsed Daniel Cameron. And also another little tidbit too, Daniel Cameron is the protege to Mitch McConnell. That should tell you all you need to know right there. When I found that out and then tied it in with what happened with Breonna Taylor and what he did not do with that, I said now it all makes sense. But let's see what 45 has to say about this.
Daniel Cameron is a young star who has done a great job as your attorney general, always being fair but very, very tough. And the wonderful people of Kentucky know it. You've learned it. You've seen it. You've been watching it. He is strong, reliable, and loves your state and our nation. Daniel is a tremendous fighter on crime, lowering taxes, saving our Second Amendment, stopping inflation, and, of course, helping our great military and our vets. We love our vets.
I bet you 45 won't mention about what happened with Breonna Taylor. We ain't even a minute in. I bet you he's not going to mention that.
Daniel strongly supports law enforcement and is endorsed by the Kentucky Fraternal Order of Police, will not allow men to participate in women's sports, fully supports our teachers and getting our children caught up from the massive learning loss caused from Beshear's educational policies, which have been a disaster for Kentucky. He will eliminate Kentucky's income tax and will support the working men and women of Kentucky, just like I did for 4 great years. His opponent, current Governor Andy Beshear, has been a disaster for Kentucky. He endorsed crooked Joe Biden, which in itself is about as bad as it gets, whose economic policies are crushing your state, including inflation and energy, which are at an all-time high. Beshear is weak on crime and the Second Amendment. He's not doing the protection that it needs. They want to get rid of the Second Amendment. The Democrats are fighting hard to do that, and Beshear wants to help him. He also wants to raise your taxes and viciously shut down churches, small businesses, and schools. And you saw him do that very recently. 4 more years would be a disaster for Kentucky. So I have known and worked with Daniel Cameron for a long time, and he's good on every common sense policy there is. He's a common sense person. He will never let you down, and he has my complete and total endorsement.
All right, so that's the endorsement right there that Donald Trump gave, and I believe this video came out like right before people voted. Now, when I was reading the comment section from where this video is at, on X, by the way, many people are saying that what also hurt his electoral chances was this video, was the endorsement by 45. Believe it or not, there are still a lot of people out there that still have an issue with 45. Even other PC people still have an issue with him. Now, to my knowledge, this is the second person that 45 has endorsed that lost an election. So to my knowledge, anybody that 45 has endorsed so far in these recent elections that just happened, they didn't win. and I believe Daniel Cameron was the second. So now, if that's the case, people are kind of shook. Like, uh-oh, I hope Donald Trump doesn't try to endorse me, because if he does, I'm going to lose. So, and then a lot of people are like, saying or harping on, well, if that's the case, then it's a strong chance that 45 will most likely lose next year's election. I said, don't jump the gun so fast. Kid Gravity said the other was in Virginia, right? Was that you talking about Glenn Youngkin? Is that who you talking about? Because I don't think he won re-election. So there's that video right there. Now, before I play the last video, which is going to be Daniel Cameron's response, I'm going to read to you a little bit as to why it's a strong chance that Daniel Cameron lost the election. Now, I'm not going to read the entire thing. I'm just going to scroll on down right here to where it says Kentucky gubernatorial election, November 7th, 2023. Who won? Democratic Governor Andy Beshear, the incumbent, defeated Republican challenger Daniel Cameron. In 2019, Cameron, who had Trump's endorsement, became the first Black American to be elected as the state's attorney general. What was at stake? The election revealed a lot about the state of racial justice and government accountability in Ruby Red, Kentucky. The March 2020 police killing of Breonna Taylor still looms over the state, as does the fact that Cameron ultimately chose not to prosecute the officers who barged into the 26-year-old's apartment and fatally shot her. Advocates have been using Taylor's death to energize Black Kentuckians and defeat Cameron. The movement won't let us go. Shamika Parrish Wright, the executive director of criminal justice and harm reduction advocacy group Vocal KY, told the 19th. The injustices that are built in our governments, our local governments, and our local politics, and our local everything are now being exposed. It is a time of awakening for some folks and action for some folks. A Cameron win would have had the effect of rolling back the great gains we've had in social justice, she added. So just on this part right here, a major reason why Daniel Cameron lost is because of what he did not do when it came to what happened with Breonna Taylor. If Daniel Cameron had a spine and was on code, I can almost guarantee he would have had an overwhelming amount of Black support and most likely would have won and became the next governor of Kentucky. But to answer the question of who kept him from winning, I think we can safely say it was Black people that kept him from winning. And it is what it is. I feel absolutely nothing for him. He probably thought people was going to forget about that. It's kind of hard to forget about that. It was pretty much national news. That's how many of us who don't live in the state of Kentucky discovered who he was. Imagine learning about somebody already on bad terms. They always say your first impression is your best impression. Well, his first impression was a dud. So that pretty much answers the question as to why he lost. It was Black people that was still pissed off about what he did not do when it came to Breonna Taylor. So to those Black people out in Kentucky, I salute you. Now we're going to move on to his response, like his full post speech after he lost. I ended up finding the entire thing. It's only about it's about 4 minutes and 43 seconds long. And here he is right here smiling again. And you got his piece standing right next to him. So let's go ahead and see what this fool got to say.
Well, that didn't turn out exactly how I wanted it to. Well, look, it has been such an honor to run as the Republican nominee for governor and to run alongside someone who is the pride of Henderson County and the best dressed man I know.
Why does he sound like he's trying to sound like Obama? Did anyone catch that? He sounds like he sounds like Obama, like he's speaking in the same kind of cadence. Just something that just stuck out to me.
The fact that he runs a dry cleaners might have something to do with that. But Robbie Mills, it's been an honor. Thank you.
Now look at this room. Just look at the back of their heads. This man prides himself on being around PC. This guy prides himself being the only Negro in the room. Like, look at that. You got him, then you got his wife, you have this guy, this woman, and look at the back of the heads of everybody in that room. He is the only black man in that room. Like I said, he prides himself on that.
I promised the governor I'd be brief, so I'll be brief tonight and say thank you all. Thank you so much for your willingness and commit to this campaign and this effort, an effort that was ultimately about our kids and our grandkids. Yeah. You know,
I got a question. I have a question. Without Googling him, I want y'all in the chat to tell me how old Daniel Cameron is, or how old do you think he is? Without Googling it, I want you to tell me how old Daniel Cameron is. Do not Google, do not cheat. I'm trying to see who the first. Joseph Washington got it right. He's the first one to get it right. Daniel Cameron is 39. He was born in 1985. He is 4 years older than me. And I swear, when I found that out, I was legit shocked because he looks and sounds older. He is 39. But when you hear him talk, you swear you're thinking you're listening to someone older. Oh, my bad, y'all. I got my math incorrect. It is 38. Forgive me. It is 38. Sorry, y'all. Either way, still the original point that I made still stands. He sounds older than 38. I feel like I'm listening to a grandfather right now.
and you know, oftentimes when I'd go into counties and communities, I would bring the best campaigner I know with me, my wife, McKenzie Cameron.
Notice what got the biggest applause. Him acknowledging. The part that got the biggest applause was him acknowledging his wife.
Doesn't she look radiant tonight, I think? But it's been an honor to be her husband We've got a 22-month-old at home, and we've got another one on the way next spring.
Nobody came up here to hear about your family life. They want to hear you concede. Notice what's getting the biggest applause.
But whether it was McKenzie or Vicky Mills or all of you all here, again, this was about future generations. And as I called the governor to congratulate him, I know from his perspective and from all of our perspectives that we all want the same thing for our future generations. We want a better Commonwealth, one in which it can ultimately be a shining city on a hill, a model and example for the rest of the nation to follow. And so as I did with Governor Beshear, I want all of us to think about what these next few decades will look like. And I ask that you pray for Governor Beshear and his team and for all of our Commonwealth. Because at the end of the day, win, lose, or draw, what ultimately matters is that we know that Christ is on the throne.
What? Win, lose, or draw, we know one thing's for certain, that Christ is on the throne. That's another thing I don't be getting about some of these conservatives, is they always got to insert religion in there somewhere where it does not need to be. And shout out to Val for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. That had no place and made no sense whatsoever. You would have been better off just still up there talking about your wife and how she's glowing. And see, that's the thing, because they love, because a lot of these PC so-called Christians, they love to hear anyone talk about Christ.
Thanks, Mac. But that's what McKenzie and I will return to. We'll return to trying to be the hands and feet of Christ.
No, what you'll return to is back to that house that's not the governor's mansion that you thought you was going to be moving into. So if you decided that you was going to have these boxes start packing up, if you've already started packing up, you need to unpack and put everything back.
No,
because you ain't going nowhere. Shout out to Desmond Works for the $2 super chat. He said that's Mitch McConnell's granddaughter. Has that actually been confirmed that that was his granddaughter? Because I've never seen Mitch McConnell claim her. I've never seen them like in that many pictures together. Is that actually true? Because I've heard that over the years, but I've never gotten the confirmation that that is his granddaughter. Okay. What is her name? McKenzie Cameron. Let's look that up. I just want to be sure. Okay, I looked it up, y'all. It's not true. It is not true. Like it's like they confirmed that back in 2020 because that's when the rumors started to fly out. But it was confirmed that she is not related to him in any capacity. Yeah, so we're gonna put that one to rest. It has not been confirmed that Daniel Cameron's wife is the granddaughter to Mitch McConnell. The only connection Daniel Cameron has to Mitch McConnell is that he is his protege. He basically worked under him. Like he got all his tips from him. That's as far as it goes. Because I just had to be sure, because it's like I didn't really believe that to be true, but I said, let me go ahead and look that up right now. And a bunch of articles came up and said, no, it's not true. It is not true. Shout out to CN0218 for the $20 super chat. They said, see, he does look older than 38. Right. Like I said, he sounds like it too. If you was to just close your eyes and just listen to his voice, you would not think that you're listening to someone who's 38. He sounds older. That's why I say he sounds like a grandfather.
You all will as well. We'll try to instill those principles in Theodore and the child that'll be named at some point. We're still trying to figure that name out. But that's what it's about here on this earth, about leaving it better than you found it and giving a better future for your kids and your grandkids. So let us continue in that effort. Let us continue in that work. I want to thank my campaign team. I'm not going to name all of them, but I want to give a shout out to.
I'm willing to bet all of his campaign team looks just like his, well, not just like his wife, but, has the same, complexion as his wife.
Terry Carmack, my big brother.
No, y'all good in the chat. If y'all got it wrong, like I said, I just wanted it to be confirmed because that was something I always heard for so long. So I said, let me just go ahead and look it up now. But y'all good, though. Denise said, thank you for the clarification. Torian, appreciate it. And thank you for the $5 super chat.
Brandon Moody, who has been with me since the 2019 campaign. And the final member of the Troika, Scott Jennings. Thank you, my friend. And of course, I've got to give a shout out to my mom, who is a prayer warrior.
What? He got his mother there? And they didn't even pan the camera to her. How disrespectful. They panned the camera to to the PC constituent, but they didn't even pan the camera to his mother. And I've always been asking, where do these bootlicks parents, where are they? He finally acknowledged his mother. Because sometimes I be thinking they be hatched and not born. I swear I feel that way. I really do. But you know what? Since this is such a monumentous occasion, I'm going to drop the link in the chat. If anybody would like to come up and chop it up just a little bit about the shortcomings and the failure that is Daniel Cameron, I pinned the link at the top of the chat, and you can come out and air your grievances or just continue to aid into the pettiness of it all. Because it's very well deserved, and I'll probably let this run into maybe about 2 o'clock. So if anybody would like to come up, you can feel free to do so. And that's something I said I was going to start doing when it came to the live triple Ps. That way y'all can feel like you're a part of it. Oh, there's Carla Jenkins. I knew she was going to pop up. She never misses an opportunity to be a part of these. Shout out to Jay Bedford for the $20 super chat. He says, I bet he loves his biscuits with honey. I appreciate it. Denise said, who's your daddy, Cameron? Right. Because he made sure to talk about his mother, but he didn't bring up his dad. Now, unless his dad is deceased, and even if his dad is deceased, he didn't bring him up. He didn't mention it. He made sure to mention his mother though, but they didn't pan the camera to her though. So I'd stand corrected. There were 2 black people in that room, Daniel Cameron and his mother, but we only saw one person because they didn't want to move the camera over in her direction when he said, and I thought they was about to do it because they kind of zoomed out a little bit. I thought it was going to shift over, but with 5 seconds left, it wasn't happening. Oh, we got our first person up here. What's going on? Can you hear me? I don't know if you can, I don't know if your sound is not working or not. I don't know if I can't hear you. Well, I'm gonna bring you back down and hold on. Would you about to say something? I think I heard something. Okay, I don't know what's going on with his sound. Hopefully he gets it fixed. Shout out to C and 0218 for the $5 super chat. I appreciate it. All right, we got another person up here. Blueberry Muffin, what's going on?
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good. Is this your first time coming up?
Yes, on this platform, yes, it is.
Okay, cool.
Hi, all I have to say about Daniel Cameron and the way the good old boy system works in southern states, especially in hardcore nepotism, racist Kentucky, he didn't have a snowball's chance. So, the joke was on him.
Mm.
And then,
I
second
can
of
feel that
all,
too.
most importantly, we collectively have very, very long memories of the treacherous traitors, backstabbers, and sellouts. Okay? He sold out if you don't believe in, miscegenation or a black man marrying a white woman. That's a sellout. We don't believe in him turncoating and profiteering off of Sister Breonna Taylor's murder and then covering it up and using his office for national position off of our sister. All right? And poetic justice? No. This is just the beginning for him. Again, he's what, 38? That's still young. He thinks, okay, I lost this one. I can go back and skin and grin again. First of all, Daniel forgets he's a black man in Kentucky. All right? Let me say this one more time for people who don't really understand. He's a black man in Kentucky. Enough said. I feel absolutely nothing for him because it's all downhill from now.
Right. I appreciate it. Appreciate Blueberry Muffin for coming up for the first time. And she's right. He is a black man in Kentucky. Keep in mind what county is in Kentucky that I've talked about so much on my channel. Owsley County, one of the poorest counties in America. Very red county. And the only reason they keep Mitch McConnell in there is because he keeps funneling money into that county to keep them afloat. All right, let's see if we can get Gene back up here. Gene, can you hear me? Can you hear me? I don't know if it's something going on with your audio, but for some reason, if you're talking, we can't hear you. All right, I'm gonna bring you back down. Let's see. We got LB. What's going on?
What's up, Tori?
What's going on? What's up?
Ain't not much, man. Hey, man, when I got this report late Tuesday night, man, I couldn't be any more happy about this guy losing this governor's race. He really thought he could spit on Breonna Taylor's grave, and he should have taken a page from Mary Shaw. Mary Shaw was the woman who signed that BS warrant to begin with. When she tried to run her re-election for judge last year, she was voted out. So when you got that going on, look, man, karma comes in threes, man. Hey, man, I don't feel nothing for this. And then remember the protest that they had outside his house, and he was getting getting people arrested outside his house for protesting. Then come to find out. Oh, what's up, Tori? Go ahead.
No. I was agreeing with you.
Okay. Then come to find out the dude never handled any criminal cases. He was basically a paper pusher.
Yeah. I forgot about that. You're right. I was like, when we first learned about him, I'm like, this man never handled any type of criminal cases, and you're the attorney general. Like, how does that work?
Right. Then he had the because those grand jury proceedings, where they sworn the secrecy and all that. He was doing when he went and did that, buried the case there, and then had the nerve to go on some press conference talk about, I had a meeting with the grand jury, and there was nothing to see here, and there was no charges. And then those grand jury members went on Gayle King's show and exposed him. Remember that?
Yeah.
So all in all, I don't feel nothing for this guy. This Kentucky Fried Kool made from 11 herbs and spices. This dude can go kick rocks. I just feel happy that this dude will not be a governor of Kentucky and further degrade the name of Breonna Taylor. That's all I got, bro.
Cool. I appreciate you coming up. And before I go to the next person, shout out to Terry Keith for the $5 super chat. He said Becky is going to leave him if he doesn't make more money. Like I told them, if they've already started to pack for that governor's mansion, I hope they've already unpacked everything and put it back in its proper spot and go back to square one. And we have a very familiar face coming up to the stage. Miss Lisa Cabrera, what's going on?
How you doing, Tareen?
I am doing great. And yourself?
All right. I tell you what, I was overjoyed when I saw Dameron. Actually, it came through in my email like 5 a.m. The day after the election. Man, I set up that live stream probably 10 minutes later. I wanted to really get out there with that story. But I'm not surprised that he lost. You know, wait, didn't we used to call it Clan-tucky?
Yep.
We always called it that, right? And number two, let's be real. You're in Klan land and you're in an interracial marriage. They were never letting him get in that governor mansion like that. Right. Just that alone. Down in a redneck state. Oh, hell no. He wasn't getting in there with no white wife.
Exactly.
Yeah. You know, and I was also reading, Tareen, like the week before the election, they said he was almost on the verge of cracking because everywhere he was going on the campaign trail, Breonna Taylor kept coming up over and over and over. And they said towards the end, it was getting to him.
Good, as it should. See, like we were saying, he thought people were going to forget about that, but we don't forget. We have remember, and then on top of that, it was only 3 years ago. It wasn't like it was like 30-something years ago. And even if it was, we will still remember that too. Like, we don't forget. The people of Kentucky don't forget. And then on top of that, you know that they hired Miles Cosgrove in another department in the same state. So now that opened up another wound because, like, this guy, nothing happened to him because you didn't do anything to him. You didn't prosecute him. Now he has another job in another department in another county in the same state, and he out there terrorizing the people out there.
Exactly. And you know that federal case is going on against those cops now. That has started. So, yeah, I mean, it's just a bad look. And for him to try to run for office when you know what you did to Breonna Taylor, she never got her due process. What the hell did he think was really going to happen?
He thought he was the magical Negro and that somehow he was going to overcome.
Yeah.
Because most of these bootlicks have that same mindset. They think, oh, I'm the only black person in the room. I'm going to somehow overcome. The same thing is going to happen to Tim Scott.
Exactly. Yeah. You know, so I'm not going to take up no more time. I just wanted to say that it was good talking to you again, Tareen.
All right. Good talking to you too. Shout out to Lisa Cabrera, a huge voice in the new black media space. If y'all haven't, well, first off, if you haven't subscribed to her channel and you subscribe to me, I don't know what's wrong with y'all because most of us have the same subscribers. But shout out to her. So next up, we're going to have Great Black Shark. What's going on?
What's good, my brother? Can you hear me okay?
I can hear you.
Man, salute to you for putting these clowns and Sambozos on this Summer Jam screen because we are not going to forget any of our fallen, like our good sister Breonna Taylor. But I'll tell you what, though, we can be a little bit compassionate. So maybe Daniel Cameron can start a Bucks of Beddington support group with his little strong Jay Leno, Jack Hammer Chin, jawline wife. Him and Larry, not our elder, maybe they can crown each other's shoulders because, see, as you said earlier, man, when white supremacy is done with its tools, it's always going to break them. So I don't know, man. Maybe they need to get together, and soon Tim Scott will join them, and they can all crown each other's shoulders because, like you said, they haven't learned their lessons yet, but it's all going to go downhill from here. All the bootlegs, whether they're on the conservative side or the liberal side, they're going to get a dose of the same medicine. So salute to you for putting them on this Summer Jam screen. We're going to show them that when you betray our people, we have long memories. We do not forget. And when the folks turn on you, you can't come back over here. Hey, guys, roll right on back over there into your pet position under white supremacy. So keep doing what you're doing, brother. Appreciate the work. Salute.
Appreciate it. Shout out to you. Shout out to Great Black Shark, another contributor to the New Black Media, and a mod in a couple of our, our big three channels as well. And shout out to Trinity to the Bone for the $5 super chat. She said, I heard DC wife is Mitch McConnell's daughter. No, that is not true. They are not related at all. I had to debunk that when I was going through the articles, because I just wanted to be sure, because a lot of people said that she was, but everything came back and said that no, Daniel Cameron's wife has no relation to Mitch McConnell in any capacity. So the next person I'm going to bring up is Black Gavin. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, Torian?
I'm doing good.
Well, it's nothing more I can say that hasn't already been said at the end of the day. As we always say, when they are done with their tools, they break their tools. But you have to be a very shameless opportunist as a Black man to think that you can become governor of Kentucky. Governor of the home, the foundation of the Ku Klux Klan. Is one of the poorest and whitest states in the country. And it takes a very shameless opportunist to think you're going to climb over some Black dead bodies to become the governor of that state. As Professor Black Truth says all the time, when we're comparing people like Biden and Trump to each other, we're saying if they can have full-blooded white supremacy, why do they want light white supremacy? Why do they want chocolate-covered white supremacy? Why do they want the fake thing when they can get the authentic, real deal? He had no chance, and you have to be a very small-minded individual to even think it was realistic. You see the type of people he keeps in his circle, and you see the type of energy he projects. To even think you could be a governor of that state. See, I live in Maryland, out here in the same state as you, and I could see him being this audacious in a state where he might have a chance. But I mean, that isn't Kentucky pretty much red?
I don't, honestly, to be honest, I don't think he would have a chance even here.
Nah, he wouldn't. No. But he'd be the type of rockhead person who would try here. You understand what I'm saying? But still, it's incredible. But nobody here who can read the tea leaves and who follows the New Black Media is surprised by this outcome, man. We all laughing and we all feel nothing, as you would say.
Exactly.
Thanks for having me, brother, and thanks for giving me a chance to speak.
Oh, no problem. Before we go any further, shout out to that guy from Texas for the $5 super chat. I greatly appreciate it. And Gene, I see your comment. You said, Torian, I'm having a very bad connection where I'm at. I would like to give my support to Daniel Cameron's losses. Great, Daniel. You're finally doing something great for the Black community. I appreciate the comment. So the next person I'm bringing to the stage is Cosma Fury. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
And I have to add to this, and I'll ask the question to everybody. What's the time span you think is going to take him to put some more bass in his voice, grow a goatee, and act like he wasn't against us?
I don't know, because every picture we've ever seen of him, he's always been clean shaven. It's almost to the point where I believe he's incapable of growing facial hair, not even a mustache. Like every time we've seen him since 2020, he's always had the same face that we saw in the video clip that I showed y'all when he had to concede. Yeah. And you always know, and one thing my late uncle always told me, he said, never trust a Black man with no facial hair.
That's why you can't trust Jay-Z, but I digress. Anyway, so I'm saying this because, like everybody said before me who've come up here, like, you're in Kentucky. You stepped over how many dead Black people just to try to prove a point that you were one of the good old boys? Was it worth it, bro? That's what I'm saying. Like, do you realize it now, or when are you gonna realize it?
I don't even think it's kicked in for him. Like I said, when I was reading that piece of the article, it was coming from people who did not forget about how he mishandled that Breonna Taylor situation. I said, if he prosecuted those cops, even if the outcome was the same, like what we've been used to where they got off, he would have still had the support, because that means he made an attempt to actually do something. But he did not even do that. He let them literally skate on by after what they did, but they brought up charges against Kenneth Walker when all he was doing was defending his dwellings and trying to defend his girlfriend, who unfortunately lost her life. Thank God Judge Olu Stevens, someone in that state who was black, who was on code, ended up dropping all of those charges. He's basically why is this guy in front of me? Why is he in my courtroom? I seen all I can see. I have no reason to have him be locked up.
There's nothing more I can really add to that, and I'm not going to take up your time, but I just want to say one more thing. Mr. Cameron, if you hear this, was it worth it, bro?
Anyway, listen, he is dying inside. Okay, when he was doing that, when he was doing his conceding speech, he was literally dying inside. Good, he's lucky we can't see internal emotions, so we can rarely know, because on the outside, I don't think that's what he really was projecting. I mean, he showed like on the outside what he wanted the audience to see, but inside he was probably mad as hell.
You know he was, man. All right, man.
All
Good
right,
talking to you.
Appreciate you coming up.
No problem.
All right, y'all. All right, so it looks like Cosmo Fury was the last person that I was going to have on here, because it's almost 2:00, and I know I wouldn't even have enough time to squeeze one more person in. But shout out to everybody who came through. We had a good sizable audience in here, like I kind of predicted that I would. Shout out to all of my subscribers. I mean, not all of the people who hit the super chat. Val, Desmond, CN0218, Denise, Jerry Bedford, Terry Key, Trini to the Bone, and that guy from Texas. I definitely appreciate everybody for coming through. Shout out to all of my patrons over there on Patreon, all the members as well, all the people in the Discord, all of that good stuff. We will be back on here tomorrow with the one video upload. That'll be at 11 a.m. Eastern time. And with that being said, enjoy the rest of your day. Be safe and be one.